Thanks everybody for inviting me, and I hope I can keep you awake in this warmish room here, so I know it's a little cooler out there. One of the things I always like to do is to, first of all, ask you what you want to get out of these few minutes we'll spend together, because I can get up here and babble on about a lot of things, about our company, about myself, and what I'm going to mainly focus on is what we use for leadership development, because that might be more in an educational framework and might also be helpful to you as you look forward to your careers. But rather than just assuming what you might want to hear, and being the head of both human resources and training, I always have a flip chart with me, usually sometimes a little more high-tech than that. But I'd like to ask you, what would you like to get out of this conversation tonight? Anything that strikes your fancy about paychecks, about careers, about what we do as a company, what's going to make you successful perhaps in a business environment? Anything? How to get out of taking tests, credit? Yes, ma'am. There you go. You like that one? And I won't give a quiz at the end either, except I will if you don't give me anything to write up here. Yes, sir.
What are what would you consider the key ingredients to be successful?
In terms of business? Okay. Whoa, somewhere in here. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the marketing strategies that Kuchta uses to promote itself?
Marketing strategies? Okay. Oh, that's our symbol on the stock market, so that's why I write it that way. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think the most important skill is when you're looking for somebody for your management position? Like, what management skills are you looking for people that you're looking to hire?
Okay. That's good, because that's exactly what I brought here in the handout, so thank you very much. But I'm also going to break that down. We don't directly hire into management, so I'm going to talk about both hiring skills and management skills. Yes, sir.
How do you manage conflict?
Manage conflicts, okay. Yes, sir.
I'd like to find out a little more about how the government relations aspect of a company works, and what's a daily.
Okay. I'm going to probably save that for last, okay? Pardon my handwriting upside down here, that's okay. One more. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What are your most and least favorite aspects of your job?
Nobody's going to report on this to my boss, are they? Okay. Actually, that'll be my last one, okay? How's that? All right. If I could look for just a little bit of help here, I'll ask maybe if we could just feed them out there as long as they go. I think we've got enough. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully you'll share, because these will come in handy for your question more than any. Okay. And I'll keep an eye on the time, but throw something at me if I go too long. First of all, some of you said you know Paychex, but Paychex was founded in 1971 by Tom Golisano, who's a graduate of Alfred State, just up or down the road somewhere. As soon as I look at a map, I'll figure it out. Native of Rochester, and had this idea that when he was working actually for a payroll company. That is the basis of what Paychex does. We do payrolls for small businesses. The key here is in the early 1970s when Tom Golisano, by the way, you might recognize his name, has run for governor 3 times, founded the Independence Party, and is a multi-billionaire and spends most of his time giving away his money, which is not a bad thing to do. For those of you who are sports fans, he also owns the Buffalo Sabres. So, and I tried to talk him into buying the Marlins, but he bought the Sabres instead, so maybe he'll buy the Marlins next. Who knows? Anyway, so what we do is he had this idea. He said at that point in time, payroll services were only delivered to big businesses. And he went to his bosses and said, hey, I found out that 95% of all businesses in America are small, under 100 employees. And they said, great, we don't care. Well, he came back and tried again. They said, look, Tom, we don't care. Tried it a third time. Same answer. He said, bye, I'm leaving. He took all the money he had, which was $3,000, took all the credit cards he could find, including his sister's and a couple of others, you know, he's a classic entrepreneur, and went into the business of serving the small business community with outsourcing payroll. Because if you've ever, anybody ever done a payroll? Okay, you might if you want to work for us, but it's a kind of down and dirty job. Okay, it's not exciting, it's not dramatic, but it's absolutely necessary because if you want to run a business, you have to pay people or you get thrown in jail or you get these nasty little fines from various parts of the government. So it's a necessary job, and he knew that there was this mass of 9 or 10 million businesses out there that nobody was servicing. So he went into this business, and lo and behold, over the next 30 years, it went from being, you know, making him a few $1,000s finally, to a $2 billion a year business with 13,000 employees. And actually, if you look on it, we're on the most admired list. The stock performance has been great. We're in the top 2% of all public companies in terms of business performance. So Tom built a pretty nice company, and he's just kind of a nice guy from West Irondequoit, New York. So the first lesson is, and one of the keys is, you don't have to come from one single special place. You don't have to go to Harvard, by the way. You can go to Alfred. I also bring you greetings from one of our directors. He's out trying to buy a company tonight. But he went here. Toby Williams is a graduate of Houghton, and then went to the Ohio State for law school, and then down to New York City, and we hired him a few years ago. So he brings his greetings. He's another example of people who have been successful in our company, and he started right here. And Bob started here, and so many other people started here and have successes both here and in Washington and around the world. So one of the keys is to not restrict yourself, if you will. Some people, I was not a great student. Actually, by the way, at Paychex, we don't have any Phi Beta Kappas. One time, a woman was interviewing me from, I think, Fortune magazine, and we're such a successful company. She says, well, you must have the pick of all the students you could get from Harvard and all the top schools. I says, we don't hire from all the top schools. Well, you must have all the A students. I says, I don't think we have any A students. Okay? I was a solid C student. So was Tom. So was most of the other officers. In fact, many of our officers didn't even have a degree at that time, or only had an associate's degree like Tom. While I don't want to say anything that will hurt your academic careers, you don't have to have an academic career to be successful, okay? It may help, it may not, and it's a great foundation for you. But don't let it restrict you, let it be a launching pad. We also, while we spend about $1.5 million every year on tuition assistance because we believe in continuing education, the training department we have, I have 80 people just in the training department because we believe so much that training is a part of our business, that one of the other keys to success